Just going to wait till we go live here, just to confirm it.
Am I centered enough here? I just see a little screen with me, so I want to make sure that it's appropriate.
Oh yeah, you're perfect. You're perfect. Let's see here.
Oh, just like Mary Poppins.
Oh, we're live. We're live on Facebook. Good. And let me just get to that. Perfect. All right, folks. Let's see if we can get some folks to join us. And I'm going to, there we go. It is like preparing a rocket for launch, you know, into space, because there's so many technical elements. So we're welcoming folks. We've already got 10 people, so let me go ahead and brush my hair and get ready for the show. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Let me just get myself organized here. We've got Beth, Martin, and Emily, Luna, and Terry, darling, and Kirsten watching, Joel, and my friend David, DBG. They're all saying hello, hello, hello. So I want to say hello to everyone. Greetings and welcome to Kevin Paul's Psychic Medium Live Show. I'm your host, Kevin Paul. I'm a psychic and medium in Washington, D.C. And today my special guest is Michelle Michael, who is a psychic and medium who I met at a mediumship training class, or actually a seminar in Maine last year. God, time flies. And today we're going to talk about her journey in becoming a psychic and medium, and then talk about her specialty of trance channeling and channeling the wisdom of spirit. It's definitely unusual and different and a unique ability. So we're going to talk all about that. So if you have any questions for us, please place them in the comments section. I will be monitoring them throughout the show, and then we will answer them when we get an opportunity. So welcome, Michelle, and thank you for being on my show today.
Hi, Kevin. It's nice to be here and also to participate in this fun event.
This is your first time on a Facebook Live event, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, welcome to the roller coaster.
It is. So to everybody who's watching and listening, if I screw up, you know, you got to forgive me on this, but I think it'll be just fine.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. What part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Michigan. Some snow on the ground, cold up here, and just weathering out the pandemic and the holidays like everybody else.
And we have no snow here in Washington, D.C., but it is below freezing, so it does kind of feel like winter time. So we can get, it's beautiful, sunshiny. If you can see out the windows, there are lots of sun and no snow. So I see my friends from, Dennis is in Canada. I'm sure you guys have got some snow. And I know you have got some snow in Michigan. So you had a white Christmas. How fun was that? It was.
Nice surprise getting up and seeing that. Yeah, that was nice.
We got maybe 12 snowflakes that day. Snow flurries for the whole time. I was like, Merry Christmas. That's it. And that's all you get. Bye-bye. So what I do on my show is I like to talk to people about their journey. And that's what we're going to do today with Michelle. So Michelle, your first question is very difficult. Tell us about your journey of becoming a psychic and medium. When did it start? How did it start? How did you get to where you are today?
Oh, gosh. And in hindsight, I don't even know really how I got here singularly. I can't give that, one specific response to that. This was the turning point. That was the turning point. For me, my experience into the psychic world and learning about my gifts or abilities kind of came later in life. I would say it was about 8 years ago that I started taking classes and reading more. I have been a professional realtor for over 35 years, and so that was my focal point. But I've always been fascinated and appreciative, admirable of people with psychic gifts, with these talents. And so I just wanted to investigate and learn more. So over a period of years in taking these classes, I had good teachers, good influences. I feel very positive influences in order for me to continue my journey of learning, and also to gain confidence in myself over time about my own gifts. And so with practice and training and continually doing this over time, it has developed more. I started out first with taking classes on mediumship and how to perform in front of people. I say perform, but get up in front of people and speak and give messages from loved ones. And that helped my psychic gifts. It probably helped me have more confidence in my psychic gifts. And then from there, with the trance channeling, it just sort of evolved into that. So with each step that I took on this journey and learning more, I gained more confidence in myself. And I would do psychic fairs, do readings. I was still doing real estate, so I didn't do it a lot, but I did it enough that it helped me with continuing to gain more confidence, trust, learning in myself.
What got you started into searching for or wanting to develop yourself as a psychic and medium?
That's a really good question. Just really curiosity about it. I had a deep desire to want to be able to help others, to be able to do these things to help others, to be of service. And I'm really more of a curiosity about myself and what was possible. And it just started unfolding. But it did take some years. I wasn't aware of being gifted with anything as a child or having these talents or abilities. Now, I will say that I became more aware of my intuitive abilities and truly how they did help me with my career and my life. But I never considered those, my intuition, to be any sort of special talent. In fact, for a long time, I really thought everybody was like this. I just thought I could see a situation and see things more clearly, understand and grasp a situation more clearly and quickly than others. And it puzzled me at times, why didn't others see the reality or see the truth or see what an outcome would be? And I just kind of notched it up to, that's just the way I was. So
now, what are your clair abilities? Clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, what have you learned are your natural abilities
that
as a psychic and medium?
Another good question. Clairvoyance, definitely. The others are, for me, it's a feeling, it's a sense.
Clairsentient.
Yeah, clairsentient. And I think that I really feel that that's one of the more challenging clairs to work with, because it really is about learning to trust that. If you hear a voice or hear voices or, get that, that's something a little bit more concrete that you can't discount. You may initially if you hear voices, but over time, as you are, getting more used to it, becoming more familiar, or you smell things, those are more concrete to your senses. But when it's internal to you, it's a little bit more challenging to hold on to it and trust that it's real and that it's true. And I think a lot of people have that clairsentience a lot more strongly than they allow themselves to believe.
Right. And it does take you, and like when I teach students when they're developing, to understand how you gather information as a clairsentient versus when your active mind is trying to fill in the blanks and trying to guess. And so that's really the hard part. When you see an image as a clairvoyant, where you see it in your mind or outside, that's pretty, black and white, clear. And you may hear a voice in your mind or may hear it out here. Those are real obvious, but that being able to feel and sense does take a lot of training to differentiate, okay, what, when it's really true versus I'm just kind of guessing and trying to fill in the blank. You're right, it's the hardest part, but I think it's one of the most powerful clairs that we have, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. That um, learning to trust that for yourself and allow it will allow you to open up doors into other ways of learning and understanding, and accepting truth, and that it's not you making it up. That just gets in the way so many times for people, of making them hesitate of it. It comes in here, or it could come in here, it's a feeling, but
Mm-hmm.
they our monkey minds get in the way from having it come out this way verbally,
Right.
um, or after the fact, after they see the truth of what they felt. How many times do we say, oh, I knew that, oh, I was going to say that, oh,
Mm-hmm.
etc., etc. So one of the things with training and classes and doing this is to learn how to relax and just let that out. And frankly, trance channeling is just an extension of that. It's just another form of that.
So tell us about trance channeling, because most psychic and mediums do not do trance channeling. So explain what that is and how it fits into being a psychic or medium.
I'll do my best. I'm still a student. I'm still learning all the
We're
time.
always a student. I would say we're always learning. Even though I'm
So
110 years old, I'm still learning.
um, and whatever I pass along, if it's of help to anybody, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So for me, trance channeling is where I do not go into a deep state of trance. That's kind of, I'm going to just say old school. I know there are practitioners out there that still do that, but I don't go into a deep state of trance. I do what I call conscious trance channeling or conscious channeling, in which my ego steps back. Okay. I ask my ego to step back so that I can allow whatever spirit comes through, or whatever information, to flow out there, so that I'm not in the way of questioning it, or asking about it, or second guessing it, or doubting it, all of those things. And so that's trance channeling, when, to me, when you get out of the way, when you step aside, your ego steps aside and says, okay, let's just allow this. And
And so
allow
the voice comes, you're allowing spirit to kind of use your voice.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. It's more than just your voice, okay? Because you and the spirit that is coming through are using more than just your voice. They're using also your knowledge, because you're also allowing their knowledge to come through. And this happens so quickly. They are, and I'm trying to explain this simplistically, there's a meshing going on, but it's an agreed upon meshing and cooperation of spirit stepping in and you allowing them to use your voice, yes, but also your thought process, your physical body. Because when I channel with Enos, there are physical movements. And so it's allowing a meshing. And it isn't like Enos steps in right off the bat, and boom, I'm there. It is a matter of, it's like going into water that's a little chilly at first. You have to get used to it and
Mm.
settle in, correct? And so that's the way it is for me with trance channeling. And so for, I would say, the first 5 minutes that Enos and I are working together cooperatively, and I'm getting out of the way and saying, okay, come on through. It gets he gets more settled in as more time goes on. And I'm using Enos as the example because that's who I
Who is
do a
Enos?
lot.
Who is Enos? Tell everyone who Enos is.
Well, Enos is this lovely master teacher. Um, I did Google his name when he came through. He had come through in a class through me and was speaking to somebody. And I thought truly he was a guide or a teacher for this person I was speaking to. And then for the next couple of days, his name kept coming into my head. And all of a sudden, like, ding, 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 no, he's with me. He wants to talk with me. So in Googling the name Enos, Enos is the grandson of Adam from the Bible and the son of Seth, who is one of Adam's children, sons. And so it allowed me a perspective of what I was working with, who I was working with. Now, that is merely a name that he goes by in order to allow me to connect with an identity, if you will, a personality, not just this vague spirit or something that is very etheric, mystical, something that is fictitious, if you will. And I appreciated that because it allowed me that connection, that foundation, that grounding with him. But Enos, I know I'm not just dealing with one entity, one spirit. Enos works with others. And so he uses the name Enos. I understand that he brings in information from others that he's working with. And Enos has lived many, 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 many lifetimes.
Okay. And is kind of like a database of information and is bringing in information from other opportunities, other spirits. It's almost like a name associated with this master teacher, right? It's not like this
Perfect.
person was
Good.
the grandson of so-and-so. It's just, there's got to be a name for us humans to be able to, connect with something or someone or a spirit. It's nice to have a name. So that's like your like the master spirit, the master teacher that comes through you. And do you also, when you do mediumship and you're connecting with someone's loved ones, can you actually bring in, do you allow those spirits to step into you and use your voice? Or is it just Enos that you allow that channeling, trance channeling?
It's a good question. Let me think. Typically, it's Enos that, Typically it's Enos, but sometimes, Kevin, it really is a blending. I feel that I know that there's times where Enos will be talking with somebody and offering guidance and counsel. But if the question from the person is about a loved one who's passed on and wanting to know more, Enos may bring forth information, but it's not unusual to have that person, I'm going to say, step in and talk directly with the recipient. But it's not like they all of a sudden know, oh, that's their voice.
Right. Oh, that sounds just like my mother. And like, oh, no.
You know what? And that's a good point. When Enos steps in at times, there's a few moments of adjusting my voice box so that he can use it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that when other loved ones come through that adjustment's going to occur. Okay. Sometimes I am just voicing the thoughts, the words that are coming through to them. You're not necessarily having, how can I put this? Not a consistent direct communication. It's almost like Enos is the telephone operator and you're going through Enos to connect. And I will say for Enos, he doesn't just pop through. In fact, for me, I rarely have just people pop in, but for Enos, he doesn't just pop in and kind of step in uninvited. He always comes when he's asked and when he knows there's a need for him to step in. So we have that cooperation, that agreement with that. But I have found that I can't guarantee anybody I'm going to sit down and channel, your mother or your father, because there is a cooperation that has to go on with spirit, with the participant. There is an energy that is created and going on. So it's.
when you're doing mediumship readings, it may just be Michelle connecting and then connecting with spirit and then communicating, or sometimes you'll be able to channel, you know, that spirit through you, or you may have Enos pop in to help facilitate the reading. Correct? Is that the way it works for you?
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. There are differences between a psychic, a medium, and a channeler.
Mm.
Okay. And I don't know how many people are familiar. They like to group the words together and say, well, this defines that whole spiritual realm of things.
Mm-hmm.
A psychic is typically somebody you will go to on a personal level and ask them information. They bring forward information, maybe about the future, maybe about your future. They can see things. Okay. A psychic, they can see
dealing
things.
with the living, being able to read the past, present, and future of someone who's living.
Perfect. You understand that, right? You got it.
Mediumship is then connecting with people's loved ones.
Exactly, and bringing forward that information that they may ask or request or want to share. You got it. Because this is what you do. With channeling.
Yeah, where's channeling fit in?
Channeling is like at the end of the pecking order there, in a good way, but channeling is where you truly are just allowing spirit to have more. The information that's coming through is coming directly from spirit. It's not necessarily coming from the thought process or mind of like a psychic or a medium. A medium is relaying information also that they're getting verbally. I want to see if I can do this without screwing it up too bad. But a medium, of the three, psychic, medium, and channeler gets out of the way. Okay, my ego gets out of the way. With psychics and mediums, you still are keeping some of yourself there. Your ego is participating, probably like the gasoline to keep the wheels in motion.
Mm-hmm.
But with a medium, I'm just simply delivering the information. I have no personal connection to it. I don't care what that information is. You understand? Mm-hmm. Many times psychics and mediums, they shouldn't care about what they're giving, but they do. They tend to do that. But to me, a successful channeler sits down, gives you the information, gets up, walks away, has no connection to it. It doesn't impact them on what was said.
Mm. And do you always remember when you're channeling what you've said, because you're actively kind of behind or off to the side, or do you not remember what was said as a channeler?
I do. That's why I say I'm a conscious channeler. There are times I definitely remember. Absolutely. I feel that sometimes I'm supposed to remember information, not about somebody personally or what information they've requested for themselves, but rather just information. That's why I call it the wisdom. Because truly in working with Enos, there is a wisdom behind the information. It's universal, what he has to say and share with people. He goes deeper with his explanation, his grasp of the situation, and does what he can to help clarify it to you, help give you clarity on a situation, perhaps have a different perspective. But he never force feeds us or anybody. It's just it's a wonderful way of having discussion. And that's the nice thing too with Enos. There's discussion back and forth. It isn't like, this great speaker up on this podium and this is what I'm going to tell you and you need to listen to this. No, there's discussion. He's very down to earth. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that because I feel that it allows him to connect with people more comfortably. And I do feel, and I think a lot of channelers would agree, I think that it allows me to more comfortably. He allows some of my personality, if you will, my mannerisms, my words, as he translates
Like he gets in the
using my
car, he's
voice.
getting into the car, you are the car. So, you know, you've got all your features and all your characteristics of the car. Um, all right, that makes sense. So what's the best way to say, what's your preparation before getting in trance? Because everyone, we're going to be um, asking Michelle if she can bring through Enos, and then I will be talking with Enos, and I will be, you guys can ask questions. So what is your general process to get into it? It's an intention, first of all, and then what's your physical process?
I like to, first of all, meditating is extremely helpful because it helps me to quiet my Michelle thought
Your
process.
active mind.
When I channel, I keep my eyes closed. And the reason for that is so that I'm not distracted with colors, visual, and also I would prefer not to read your body language, okay? So that I feel that what will come through will be based upon vibration
Okay.
and energy, what he is picking up. And because, you know, believe it or not, and he's sharing this with me now, humans are no different from whales in being able to send out, or dolphins in being able to transmit, send out sonar to people. Okay. Now, psychics and mediums get this. Okay. They're picking up, we call it vibration, whatever you might want to call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when I sit here with my eyes closed, Michelle isn't going to be picking up on your sonar, but Enos and Michelle working together are picking up on that in order to be able to assist you further and deeper with information.
Okay.
All right. So to your question real quickly, meditation is helpful. I like to go into not a state, but a more quiet place. And then, like I said, about the first 5 minutes, we settle in.
Mm-hmm. And it really requires training. People probably think, oh, I can channel, or I think I'm channeling. What do you recommend people who are dabbling in or interested in channeling? What's the proper way to do channeling, or to get yourself to a point where you are doing it correctly or doing it properly? What do you recommend?
These are all such great questions. Okay. If this is an area you wish to investigate more for yourself and to develop more for yourself, it would serve you greatly to work with an experienced channeler as a teacher or a mentor. Okay. And to learn from them, not to imitate them, but to learn from them and accept their guidance and recommendations on methods that can assist you. Okay. Next would be to sit with a group or other like-minded people to practice, because in sitting in that kind of environment, and it could be a classroom, which would be really great because everybody's there for the same reason, it will allow you to feel more comfortable. Everybody has the same goal in mind. I think for quite a few people, self-consciousness does get in the way of your thought process of allowing. So when you're with others like yourself, that will allow you to open up and relax and feel more comfortable. You're quote unquote with your peers. And then the next thing is really allowing, trusting, opening the mouth. Sometimes it's the hardest thing to do. I've sat with others who have been trying to channel, and you hear this because they don't believe in what is happening here and what is coming through could actually, that either they're capable of it or that someone's coming through. So when you are with others who support what you're doing and what your goal is, that's really going to be, they encourage you, that's really going to be helpful. And then I would recommend to continue to practice because just because you are able to do it once and you get affirmation from fellow students, it does not mean you're ready to go out and take on the world. It just means that you're moving in the right direction.
Mm. People ask, are you possessed when you are channeling? Is it called true possess? Are they possessing you, or are they just using? They're not being, they're not like taking over everything, right?
No, no. And I actually thought about that question myself at times. And first of all, when you channel, you really can only be in that state of being for limited periods of time, okay? Because you are in an altered state of consciousness. So there are limits on how long you can physically do that. You or the spirit are going to get tired and leave. They're going to say it's time for a break.
And lack of discipline of the human is part of that process, right?
Sure, all of this, yes. And sometimes the information coming through is only going to be 10 minutes or 5 minutes. But that being said, so realistically, and I know there's books and movies and accounts of all this, but realistically, for a spirit to come in and possess your body and hold on to that, and to also do things against your better nature, your free will, I find that would be extremely unlikely, number one, or not possible. I haven't encountered it. And keep in mind, you are the ones that set the rules. You. Yeah, Michelle sets the rules. I'm not going to be so rigid as to not allow, but I have to be respectful of my body, of my physicality, and mindful of that. Same as you, Kevin, and so you do set up rules and boundaries. And I think that I have not run into anybody that has channeled something inappropriate.
Right.
And I think that because of our free will, you can say you don't want that to happen. But no, they don't. There's no possession going on any more than I'm possessing them. So
right. It's like putting on a nice sweater and then taking the sweater off, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So we do have Sherry wants to know, can Enos bring through messages for loved ones or from loved ones?
He can at times, and sometimes there needs to be, okay, all right.
Or does he just talk in general about wisdom and what's going on in life and what we should be focused on a higher level?
Okay. The answer to that question, Kevin, is yes, both. Okay. We are not so we will step in now if it is comfortable for you.
Welcome.
And for thank you.
I knew you were there. You were waiting to come out.
Thank you. Yes, we appreciate the opportunity for you and I to connect, and also through you, all of the other ears. We like open ears. So you asked the question, is the information coming through of a particular nature only all the time? Is this correct?
Right. Sherry wants to know, can you bring through messages from loved ones individually? Like for example, from Sherry Z, or is that something that you can do or you work with Michelle to do?
We say the answer is yes, if the loved one wishes to come through. The person requesting it may have the desire, but the loved one may not be ready, prepared, willing to connect at that time, you understand. So if we have a agreement by all parties connectedly, then the answer would be yes.
Good answer. Now, Dinos, did you choose Michelle or did Michelle choose you? How did you guys get paired together?
The answer again is yes. Michelle and I had a pre-existing agreement that we would work together. And I am not going to tell her if it's just this lifetime or others, you understand. Mm-hmm. But we had a pre-existing agreement to work together and cooperate, and that I waited until she was ready to be able to allow this to occur. And we are both delighted by the outcome and the results. So, yeah, it was mutual consent long ago.
Mm-hmm. And through other perhaps lifetimes lived together, or?
We have not shared a physical life together. No. Mm-mm.
Enos, where are you from? What are some of your past experiences and lifetimes that you have cherished, or that you kind of look back upon, which makes Enos who Enos is today?
That is a big question. Mm-hmm. The thing that has been most beneficial in my growth and allowing others and helping others with their growth in any lifetime has been love, has been the awareness and lessons about loving someone, having someone love you, about being able to love someone unconditionally, about allowing someone to love you unconditionally, about the acceptance. Love has always been at the foundation, at the root of some of the most wonderful experiences that I have had in many lifetimes, and not just on this planet, but in other areas of the, not just universe, dimensions, we will say dimensions. That has been the number one factor that has outshined anything. Also complemented everything and allowed me to move through the most challenging of lifetimes and experiences in all of those lifetimes. Because it is true.
Love is indeed an important emotion for us all. Many folks don't have that level of love, or don't feel like they have love in their lives. And when they do, they probably don't always appreciate it. What do you recommend for people going through their lives? What should be their focus going through their their lives when they are here on Earth. What do you recommend for folks? A bit of wisdom for everyone on their own journey.
Very simple words, but not so easy to embrace for ourselves. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Try to relax judgmental views you have of yourself. Try to move through those and let them go. Being kind to yourself first and foremost will allow you the ability to be kind to others, will allow you the attitude, temperament, perspective, and understanding of how absolutely important it is for humanity. For humanity. Kindness.
And a bit of forgiveness of ourselves too, I would imagine.
That's part of moving through the judgmental perspective we have of ourselves. Sometimes we look in a mirror and we see things based upon what others have told us or that we have told ourselves that are a reflection of who we are. But many times it's not the truth of it. It's not the truth of you. So moving through forgiveness, that's the perfect word. Kevin allows you to let go of judgment towards yourself.
Let's take a look and see who has some questions for us.
Very good.
Someone has asked, do you have any positive news or helpful hints for year 2021 for us? I knew you'd like that one.
This is so far forward in the front of everybody's minds, especially given the time of year it is, and with all of these activities going on that are new to us and affecting us in different ways. And yes, I would like to pass along and share with you without revealing too much. You understand that is not my job to tell you at all. Then you would just sit back in your living room on your couch and wait for it to happen. No, because we are all, it's very important that everybody is proactive in their lives and not just waiting for things to happen. But what we will share with you for 2021, it is going to continue to be a year of change. Now, I may say things to you and you may say, well, I don't need a crystal ball for that. And you are correct. I will just be giving you affirmation of what you intuitively are sensing. 2021 is going to also be another year of having to move through, transition through on a global scale, the changes that this affliction has brought and wrought. Understand. But it will be improving. but it will take time for those improvements to start to personally affect individuals and then larger groups, such as cultures and countries. And I will tell you that look into the fall and latter part of 2021 to really start to sense that you are regaining back some, we will use the word control, if you will. You are regaining more of your own sense of free will and freedom to move through life in a way that was familiar to you. Now we are saying to many that you will not be going back to the familiar life you had previous to this, because you have gone through too many mental and emotional adjustments that you would be willing to just settle for the way things were. You are looking back in a way that many of you, the 1950s were so good and the 1960s were so good. You tend to look back on these decades, these times with sweet nostalgia. You will be looking back on lives and life pre this worldly affliction with some sweet nostalgia. However, we do say to you that it's quite exciting to recognize, to realize the direction, the opportunities that are being offered to humanity through these changes that have occurred, through these new ideas and thoughts that we are embracing. Now, this will not affect everybody. We will tell you that now, because it happens on an individual basis, and then it will happen on a more larger, wide scale. But your best, we will tell you that your best understanding of current conditions, of the current activity, is going to come more easily from a future perspective, looking back. Do you understand what we mean when we say this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Humanity will have more clarity as to not why so much had happened, but more clarity about where they are going, why they are going in that direction.
So there is some good coming out of what we've been through this particular year, it sounds like. And it's all individual, it sounds like what you're saying.
I'm sorry, it broke up. It's all
It's all individual, and we all have our own journeys and our own experiences, and there's no reason why we can't make it a, take the goodies, get the good things out of it and move forward. Otherwise, that's what we do on our journey, our spiritual journey. If I've got you correct, we take the
you
good things and learn from it.
you take the whole, and it's not just what individually each of us learned from this, it's what we also collectively learn. This occurs from it has to start at a core first, you understand, with the individual's personal experiences, with the knowledge that they have gained on what they want to do with it, in which direction they wish to go. There, to give them a better understanding. There will be those who resist, who feel that they will look at this in a way in which only negativity is connected to it. This is the way that humanity is because of our free will. But then there will be a larger cohesive awareness due to the collective energies of individuals who start to recognize truly the positive that is going to come from this. And we truly feel that there's going to be larger scale of, on a larger humanitarian scale of help and being of service and being open and aware. It's going to go at different paces and different speeds for the consciousness of this globe as a whole, because you have so many different entities. But this is, we will say to you, this is like a new beginning of something that's going to happen and take much longer than just a couple of years of living under a restrictive basis, under a fear or threat from an organism. It's going to snowball, and it takes time for that to happen. So 2021 is still going to be where you are in this holding pattern. You understand, holding pattern, and watching and waiting what is unfolding. But toward the end of it, you are going to feel a greater sense of freedom, relief, clarity. So that moving into 2022, you will be able to exercise your freedom more, your imagination, your curiosity, and you're going to start seeing changes with humanity.
Hopefully good changes.
They're all good. They're all good.
So Enos, would you like to take a few questions from people that are watching us?
Yes, if they would like to offer them up, we will.
All right. I have someone named Kathleen L. Her last name starts with an L. Kathleen L is wondering if you can tell Kathleen anything for her higher good, for example. So Catherine L. Any words of wisdom for Kathleen?
Kathleen, that is, we appreciate you stepping in, and thank you so much for having curiosity and courage. That together will serve you well. Kathleen, do you have a particular area of interest that you would like to talk about?
There's no particular nothing in particular in her question. Just anything. Tell me anything, that for her higher good right now. So it's a general question from Kathleen.
Kathleen, what we are sensing for you right now, what's coming through, what we feel for you right now, is that there is some frustration on your part with regards to feeling rather restricted. Not unusual. Many are feeling that way. You in particular, though, are wanting to have changes come into your life. You want to be more you want to be more involved in changes in your life and creating those. We feel for you that there is a movement for you, a change geographically and location, to be able to put you into a region that is going to be more beneficial to you on a spiritual level, educational level with spirituality also. And we feel that you actually have access to that, whether you believe it or not, through means like what we are using right now. But you want to get in and get your hands dirty. That's what I'm feeling. You want to be physically in that location and region and around other like-minded people, to see if you can pick up on that energy and help your growth. And so we say to you that start searching now through ways that you can access this with the means that are available to you. This is going to allow you to be better prepared for when you do feel this sense of freedom, because it all starts up here for you, for that you are ready to take on a change of location. And we hope that that will help to serve you. You will benefit from a change geographically in location.
Very good. Let's see here. I've got a question from, let's see. Emily L says, it's nice to see you work, Enos. I don't feel so alone in channeling because this is what has been opening up for me, in me for some time. I would like to know physically what I can do to manage these vibrations when channeling.
I would like, if Kevin, if you can correspond, I know she can hear me. Emily, could you write back and state if what a challenge is to you with handling the vibration? Do you physically feel uncomfortable? Do you have trepidation?
She wants to know what to do to manage these vibrations, and she says yes. She says yes, that's correct.
Okay, very good. We understand. All right. So what we can share with you is right now you would like to allow these higher energies to come through you and work with you. But if you are having reactions that are of a physically negative nature for you, and also sometimes up here, then we would recommend that you take baby steps and perhaps not talk to the spirit who is, or entities that are coming through, and let them know to come in on how you are being affected by this, because they're not aware of how you're receiving it. They only know how they're transmitting it. So we say baby steps that perhaps try channeling not such high entities to begin with. This truly is an ability that you build on. And if you physically, because spirit is learning to work with you physically also, if you physically are not ready yet, then you will have these reactions. Now, we have shared with Michelle and that a proper diet is appropriate. Also, to be in a frame of mind, such as sitting in meditation first to relax yourself. And also, you need to talk with the spirit coming through to let them know if the vibration is too strong for you and to tone it down. They can do that. Yes, allow yourself physically to build up to receiving that. So go baby steps with them. It's rather like you don't get on a motorcycle and ride right off. No, you learn how to ride by starting on the tricycle and then the two wheels, and you build your way up. So that's the way it is with this. And
Emily says yes, it's more with diet. She was curious about that.
okay.
Yes, very good.
Okay. Prior to sitting in trance or allowing channeling, we have found it is best to do so on an empty stomach, if you will. A light meal prior and then waiting. And light, we mean, okay, earth grown. For you especially,
Emily.
for Emily especially. Oh, Emily, you like the sweets, don't you? Don't we all? uh, Minimizing your sugar would be beneficial to you, Emily. Watching that intake will be beneficial to you and will help you in many ways.
Great.
So, okay.
I have
Many blessings to you, Emily. Yes.
I have a question from Robin T. During 2021, when will be the best time to manifest for our highest good? Looking for clarity on a few changes. This is Robin wants to know, when's the best time in 2021 to start manifesting for her highest good?
Every day. We say that partly in jest. Manifesting doesn't have a boundary to it. It doesn't have a date on it. It doesn't have a timeline. There is no day of the week that is best. Manifesting is a continual act of you allowing and setting intention. And so there is no better time than now. Because as you manifest based on today and what knowledge you have today, on your emotions, your vibration today, will allow you to move the scale so that 6 months from now, what you are manifesting will be different, but it will be built on, in addition to and complement what you manifested as of today. So if I am to understand you, you would like to know at what point is it good to do this? And we say any time and all the time. Allow yourself that. It will, it will be beneficial to others, your soul, your well-being, your frame of mind. Because manifesting and intentions are very closely related. And it is not incorrect to allow yourself to set intentions and manifesting for 2021 and further. This is not like New Year's resolutions, because manifesting does not have a deadline. You cannot say, in 6 months, I want to work on this, so in 6 months, I can be having higher income. Manifesting is a continual act. And what is so beautiful about it is that there are no guidelines. There are no limits. There are no rules. You get to choose. But truly, there are no rules to manifesting and allowing it. Now, we will say to you, in addition to that, that there are going to be times where the energy or vibration is heightened. And so the fruits of manifesting may become more evident or easier to occur. But that does not negate all the other times. You understand?
I think it's great, yes. Manifestation all the time rather than a particular time. Anytime. I have
Anytime.
anytime. I have someone named Sherry Z is her last name, starts with a Z. Do you have any general message for Sherry Z? Can you just a general message for? She has multiple questions, but I think maybe just a general message for Sherry Z might be.
Kevin, with your permission, that is a very broad question, and we would like to be able to narrow it down. So if you would like to present one of her questions, that will allow us in the scope of time to be able to, go in and help her.
She wants to know, is there a really good way to protect myself better from negative energies?
Well, Sherry Z, there actually is a good way for you to handle negative energies. And notice we're not using the word protect, because it is part of the lessons that you are to learn. It is part of it. It is important for you to understand that negativity is part of the process. And we're not saying this in order to make you fear doom and gloom. It is for you to recognize the usefulness, the purpose of negativity, your interpretation of it, what you do with it, how you handle it, and how you move through it, how you conquer it individually. Because you will never be able to control negativity. You will never be able to eliminate it. It is not possible because it is a way, it is part of living. It is part of your soul's journey to help you. Because without it creates the balance in the universe. And for us on this planet and for us as individuals, it helps to create the balance so that we can recognize and appreciate positive things, so that it allows us the clarity of recognizing what we wish to work toward and what we wish to embrace for ourselves, and a greater sense of peace and clarity. So, what you can do in dealing with negativity is to understand and look at it in a way of why is this occurring? How can I look at this from a non-personal viewpoint? And what can I learn from this? What can I take away from this? It's all part of your lessons. It's all part of your soul's journey. And so we say to you, looking at it objectively, when you have a negative experience, when you encounter negative people, when you encounter negative thoughts, your own thoughts, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How is this negativity that has been brought into my life, or that I have brought into my life, going to help me with my soul's journey? So we hope this, and we are not saying this just thinking flippantly that you're going to be able to turn a switch. It does take practice. It takes time. For some, it takes stronger influence or impact from that negativity for them to have clarity and understanding. But what we say is that if you can learn and begin that habit sooner than later, you will find that it will be easier for you to walk through those experiences. And also for you not to exhibit them yourself also. You understand, I'm sure.
Mm. A lot of thank yous going on there. Well, I think we're almost up and out of time. And I want to thank Enos for coming through.
Oh, we had such fun. And thank you to everybody who offered questions and joined in. We do so appreciate your energy. Thank you so much. And Kevin, thank you. And I will step back now, and we will allow Michelle to come in and give her a moment. Hi there.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Welcome back. So how was that experience for you?
It's always a really good experience for me. Usually within the first 5-10 minutes, I need to ground myself, especially when I've been in trance for an hour or more. I do hold circles with groups of people in which I do trance-enos, and some of those have lasted up to a good 2 hours. So it takes me a bit to come and get grounded, but I'm getting better with it. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a very pleasant, as I'm coming out, it's very pleasant. And I enjoy also the information he brings through. I appreciate that I'm allowed to hear these things.
Mm-hmm. It's like a lecture, and then you're part of the, you're listening in on the lecture as well. So tell us anything, how do people get in contact with you? When can they participate in one of those Enos lectures, or what upcoming events do you have? Tell us about what's coming up with Michelle
Okay.
Michael.
First of all, I don't have anything yet on the calendar for a clairvoyance circle for January or February, but we will be doing that. I have a website, michellemedium.com, michellemedium.com. And on there under events, I do post information about upcoming events or circles. And right now, with everything that's going on, I just do Zoom sessions with the Clairvoyant Circle, and we limit it to 10 people so that everybody can participate and interact with Enos. And then if you would like to get on my email list, because I send out mailings of events coming up, just like I did for this, you can email me at michellemedium.com and ask to be put on the email list. I'd be happy to do that. I do private sessions also, and I have that listed on my website. And I do them right now by phone or Zoom. And it doesn't, if you can tell from today's interaction, it really doesn't affect at all the energy or the information. Now, when I do private sessions, there will be much more interaction verbally with the person. And I find that Enos does enjoy the vibration of someone's voice, so that they will gather a lot more information, personal information.
So everyone can go to your website. Your website is your main hub of activity, information. Yes. Get on her email list, and it's michellemedium.com, correct?
And I don't have a page specifically for Enos yet. That is a New Year's resolution. That's on my to-do.
You got 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks. Oh. No, it is coming quickly. Let's see. So those are your events. For me, my website is kevinpaulpsychicmedium.com. If people have never been to one of my broadcasts here, I want to welcome you guys for coming. Everything is on my website, whether it's doing readings, one-on-one readings, or even doing, I do abilities analysis. I like to help people understand what their natural abilities are. And then I write it all up so that, you get a nice little document as to, okay, this is my primary, this is what this means, this is what that means. I love doing abilities consultations. And then I have of course, my one-on-one training. I call it Psychic Medium Elementary School, help people develop a great foundation around their specific abilities, and then teach them how to do it on demand. That's what I like to do, is teach people how to do what we do on demand, because that's what we do. We're doing this on demand versus, going through life and having these experiences. Oh, well, that was interesting. I knew that was going to happen. Oh, I knew they were going to call. And those are all wonderful, and we all do. We all have some sense of abilities, but I love to teach people who want to develop. And I always say, it takes time and effort, and you have to do your homework to be able to really develop yourself. Even me, we're all still continuing to do our homework and fine tuning. And as we do this, as we go through a year, it's like, oh, wow, I really learned a little bit more about, doing this, or I should do it better. So students, we're all still learning. This life is all about learning. And when you're doing psychic medium development, you're still learning every year. every month, every training program you go to. And it's important to have natural abilities, but just like being an athlete, you have to be coached well, you have to practice, you have to make mistakes, you have to have successes, and then you got to be able to balance the two and understand, oh, that's what it feels like when I'm on versus, oh, when I'm off. And so I always tell people it's a journey. Life is a journey, as well as when we develop these abilities to help others, because this is truly a ministry of healing. The work that you do, Michelle, the work that I do, is really a ministry of healing, helping others heal, bringing messages to them from their loved ones to help them heal, to help them feel more comfortable, to help them understand and make sense of, what has happened in their lives. And I just honor that. I'm sure you do too. We feel so honored to be able to be able to help people upon their journeys, their life journeys, their spiritual journeys. And it's really, I think it's exciting. I mean, I can't imagine not doing this kind of work. I'd be bored out of my mind.
That's true. Yes, everything you said, ditto on that. Absolutely. It is very rewarding. It is very rewarding. And I think that's what keeps me going forward even more and wanting to go out there, work with Enos and do more, is because it's internally rewarding, but it's also gratifying. And it's also wonderful because there is something so magical about it, knowing that there's so much more to tap into and to gain information from. My husband always says it's like we're like Becky and Huck going through the cave together, exploring. And sometimes,
Right.
yeah, sometimes he'll go off this way, sometimes I'll go off that way, but then we get together again and we share things. And that's a really good way to look at life. It's a
I
real good way.
I agree. It's living life can be really difficult, and living life with some direction and some inspiration from others or from within really can elevate one in their journey. So it's just a matter of, folks, keep your eyes open, look for good opportunities, look for those things that interest you, and check it out. And you may, oh, okay, that was good. It was not as what I was looking for. But while you're going on that journey, all of a sudden there was this right-hand turn, and that's where you needed to go. But you had to go this way to be able to go that way. So I always encourage people to open up and to use joy and excitement and an interest to help guide their journey in life.
We talk about the five senses and then the clairs, but there's a sense that tends to get overlooked that I think is probably more important than everything else put together. And that is a sense of purpose. And when you have lost your sense of purpose, you are lost. And so I feel that the journey that you are on, that I am on, has allowed us to find a new sense of purpose and continue to follow on that path. So I want to thank you very much for allowing me to come on and be a part of this.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And for folks, I always post these on my YouTube channel, so you can see my other shows that I've done with other very talented people, psychic mediums, how they do what they do. And I've also included people who are paranormal investigators who like to go out and see if they can capture evidence of these different vibrations with the equipment that they use. And there's a lot of interesting equipment. So I've interviewed a couple of either paranormal teams or an author who has written a couple of books about the paranormal. So I'm going to put this on YouTube later today, and please go to that channel, which is Kevin Paul Psychic Medium. Very easy to remember on YouTube. And so, Michelle, you and Enos will be on YouTube within the next 12 hours.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome. Thank you all for joining us. And I will have another interesting, exciting guest in a couple of weeks. I'll wait till the new year happens, and we will continue on. So everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Michelle, again. It was a pleasure.
Same here. Take care. Bye,
Take care.
Kevin.
Bye bye.